-6 degrees outside in Spokane today, but Zagville has braved the cold and showed up for some Saturday afternoon hoops as number 16 Gonzaga takes on the San Diego Toreros. Well, it's so great to have you with us this afternoon with the great Shaniqua Nillis. I'm Greg Talbot. And Shaq, let's take a look at the standings early on in the West Coast Conference season. Zag's the only undefeated team, San Diego the only winless team.
Yeah, Gonzaga has been handling business so far in the WCC. San Diego is searching for their first win in conference play. What a great place to do it tonight if they're able to handle business against the Zags. And
everyone has been talking about Kaylin Trong or Von Ejim or Brenna Maxwell, but somehow the great Eliza Hollingsworth is still flying under the radar early in the WCC here.
Yeah, under-celebrated for this Gonzaga program, but she does it all. She scores in a multitude of ways. She gets out in transition. This is probably what she's done best for the Zags her whole career, is getting her feet set, letting it fly from beyond the three-point line. She's also improved her rebounding this season. Does a lot of good things for this Zag program.
Well, under Coach Lisa Fortier, the Zags are going to run out this same lineup they've been running basically literally all year. Jack.
Yeah, and it's a great veteran lineup for them. They know what they're doing, and they've played together for a really long time. So their chemistry is on point. They start the Zags out every game and have done well so far.
As for San Diego, Veronica Sheffy is the one to watch. She's leading their team in scoring with 12 points a game. Also, Harsimran Kaur, who will be in to tip for the Toreros, 23 blocks. That's second in the WCC. She can really get up there.
Yeah, Kaur has a lot of length to her, a lot of size. Look to her to be aggressive with these Gonzaga posts. USD has a tough assignment for them today, but if they're ejim to get it done, they will hand Gonzaga their first WCC loss.
So Carl will be in to tip for San Diego. She's 6'4" against the 6'1" Von Ejim. This Gonzaga team has won 27 in a row in this building. Initial tip-off goes out of bounds. It'll be with the Zags, and it's pretty amazing here, Shaq. We have basically a full building when it's -6 degrees outside. The fan base for this women's team is, no question, part of why they've been so great at home.
Yeah, this home court advantage is definitely one that helps them out each game. It is cold outside, but they're going to turn up the heat here. Look to them to be really aggressive offensively. You see there, Von Ejim getting them started. She's done such a great job this season of putting the ball on the floor and getting herself to the rack early to set the tone for herself in these games.
Vonnie is, and I'll say it, the best player right now in the West Coast Conference.
Yeah, without a doubt. Her numbers, you just can't deny her dominance this season.
20 points a game, shooting 65%. Here's Carr. And Vonnie will chase down a rebound, or try to, and she does. She's also been the player of the week 4 times already this year. This has been the year of Vonnie. You kind of said at the beginning of the season, Shaq, that might end up being true. You have been right.
Yeah, she has done such a great job of getting herself going every game. And the big thing for her, too, I think that got her in trouble last season is she'd be in foul trouble. So she's on the floor more. She's able to make great passes to her teammates like you see there. Brenna Maxwell also doing what she does best of letting it fly from the three-point line.
Brenna Maxwell, the best three-point shooter in the West Coast Conference. That was number 49 this year. She shoots about 43% from beyond the arc.
In
back-to-back years.
In her last game, too, she notched her 1,700 career point. I mean, that's just insane, because in that same game, her teammate Kaylin Trong picked up her 1,000th career point. So that just shows you that this team has so many capable scorers.
No doubt about it. Zags out to an early 5-2 lead, and here's Kaylin Trong over on the wing. Fascinating, last year Kaylee ran point for this team, but it's really been Kaylin who has been running the one so far. Feed down low to Eliza Hollingsworth. It's around and off, and Carr with a great rebound. Like we said, she can go up and get it.
Great look for her. She just missed it. Sometimes that happens, but I like that they're trying to get her going early as well.
This is Veronica Sheffy out top for the Toreros, 12 points a game. Back to Jess Finney. This is the University of Washington transfer, and she's up for a J. It won't go down. And you can already see Von Ejim and Harsimran Kaur, they're banging down in the post. This is going to be a matchup to watch today.
They're battling. Kaur doesn't want to give Vonnie anything easy. She needs to crash the boards as well to make Vonnie work on both ends of the ball.
Well, this Gonzaga team, after a 15-2 start this year, is Kaylee Trong gets it to go. 2-0 in the conference, 7-0 at home, up to number 16 in the rankings this week. And we know that if some teams lose, and if they get the respect that they have earned, there's a good chance they can go even higher and crack the top 15 this year. Zags will get it back.
You see here Kaylee Trong in that pick and roll. That's such a tough matchup with Kaylee Trong with the ball in her hands, Yvonne Ejim setting that screen, because who do you stop? They're both capable of scoring in a multitude of ways in that pick and roll. Just does a great job of keeping her dribble, keeping her defender on her backside, and finishing at the rim.
Well, Shaq, you're so right. And your question actually goes even farther out than that. You said, who do you stop on that one play? As this is Casey Newbert, and she's got it for 2. It's not just who do you choose between those two, but when the Zags are on the floor and you're playing defense against them, you have to ask that question, whoever's holding the ball on every possession, because they have 5 players who are scoring more than 10 points a game. I mean, who do you let shoot?
Exactly. For this Gonzaga starting lineup, right there, Kaylin Trong, and that was a very deep 3. You think that she's not a threat from that point, but she's very confident, capable from that far off the 3-point line. But like you said, Greg, all 5 of the Zags out there are capable of dropping 20 points on you any given night, and that is scary territory to be in. So you just have to make it tough, make them work for every single shot that they get.
Here's Sheffy, their leading scorer. That one goes down nicely, and it's 10-6.
You see the Toreros also. Even when I was a Zag, this is the San Diego defense. They want to pick you up full court. They want to make it tough on your ball handlers. They want to get out in passing lanes. They want to be really physical. You see a hard hedge there by the Torero posts. They're just trying to disrupt your offense, which they're doing a pretty good job. Right now, the Zags haven't got into any flow. You have 10 seconds on the shot clock, and there's their first ball screen happening.
Out to Eliza Hollingsworth. 5 to shoot. Feeds Ejim, and that is too easy. Ejim, we know she's capable of having a big game every time she comes out. Did it last year against San Diego. Last time these two teams played, double-double, 12 and 11.
That Hollingsworth to Ejim high-low has been effective for years here in the kennel.
Kylie Horsemeyer with the good jumper. And admire this. Last game here on Thursday, Santa Clara and Gonzaga. That was a 1-point game at the end of the quarter. If I had to guess, San Diego's got the same attitude, which is come out and try to punch GU in the teeth if you can, as Maxwell misses.
Yeah, you got to just try to put some points on the board early because you know that they're going to settle in. Bit of a collision there.
Yeah, Brennan Maxwell ends up on the floor. I have to imagine they're going to give her a block there. We're waiting on the official call from the refs. It'll be the block on Maxwell and 2 shots. And that'll take us down into our first break of the afternoon. San Diego hitting some shots and playing tough defense and holding tight with Gonzaga in the first 5 minutes. Well, the Bulldogs have made their last 3 shots. One of those was from Kaylee Trong, Shaq, who had a big milestone here on Thursday night against Santa Clara as part of that win. Topped 1,000 career points.
That was such a great moment for her because she's battled through some injuries in her career.
Yep.
When she came back from the said injuries, she was trying to get into her flow. I think that messed with her confidence a little bit. She wasn't knocking down shots. So to see her just work and grind and have such a tough mentality to fight through all that adversity and have that milestone moment, I'm so happy for her, like player to player. That was so massive. And especially to do it on a team like this, like we have said multiple times, there's tons of scorers. And for her to do that in her career, notch that on her belt, that's just such a great moment for her.
So Veronica Sheffy at the free throw line for number 2 here to make it a 1-point game. She's got that one down. So Kaylee Trong heads to the bench for the Zags. She'll be replaced by Callie Stokes. And Mott Hypens will play some forward as well. So fun to see what Callie Stokes has been doing the last couple of games. I almost want to start calling her Callie Strokes because she's letting it go from 3, and that's been fun to see her gain that confidence.
Yeah, she's accepted her role, and she does it really well. I'm excited for her upside as you see Maxwell able to knock that pull-up down on the baseline. Fun fact, though, her teammate, Kaylin Trong, gave her the nickname PJ Tucker, because she reminds Kaylin of how PJ, just his toughness, his commitment on the defensive end.
Sure.
Not sure if Callie's shoe game is as legendary as PJ Tucker, but that's what she brings to this team, just toughness, a commitment on the defensive end of the floor, and now she's starting to bring that offensive mindset to her game as well.
Definitely one of the players of the future of this program. And here goes Maxwell. Brenna's already got 5 points. Zags will run this one down inside, 10 to go on the shot clock. Here goes Vonnie Ejim. Man, she does not need that much space, but Casey Newbert with the rebound, and that is not the last time that we are going to say that today. Casey Newbert is averaging a double-double this year. She's had 6 in 1 season, Shaq.
She does such a great job on the boards, and just her commitment to go to the offensive and defensive rebounds every single possession. She's just relentless on the board, so that's also a defensive assignment that these Zags have to key on.
Anytime you see number 22, that is the one to keep your eye on. Zags go to the bench, and out comes Bree Salenbine. Zags will make some big substitutions here, and boy, how much fun has it been to see Bree finally get healthy and get our first, real look at her of about 5 or 6 games as a Zag.
Yeah, she's starting to get her win, starting to pick up that confidence of those in-game reps. She's another player for the future for this Zags program.
I think they're going to count that one. They did. Trong should get one more at the free throw line here. Their first trip to the line this afternoon is San Diego will send Sheffy back on and take the freshman point guard Lauren McCall off. And here comes Kaylee Trong. She and her sister have become truly latter-day iconic players in this program, and we're running out of games at home to watch them play in their careers. So if you're watching this game at home this afternoon, you might want to come out before the end of the year and pay your respects to those two.
Yeah, they've been a staple in this Gonzaga program for so long now, and chose to come back for that extra year after. I think it's fair to say that nobody was necessarily happy with how their season ended last year. So for everybody to kind of buy in and come back for another year, and they're taking care of business so far this season.
Rejected, Mott Hybens. Wow. Smacked away from Casey Newbert, who scores 11 points a game and is their leading rebounder. That's the impressive one to do it against. San Diego will try it again. 5 to shoot, and it's Carr out top. 1 to go. Got to get rid of it. Too late. Zag ball.
San Diego runs a lot of different actions, lots of different ball movement. You see Mount here just staying nice and tall, using her length, not swinging down, which posts have a tendency to do. Just use her length there, just got enough of those fingertips on the ball to affect that shot. And then what ended up leading to a shot clock violation.
A lot of teams we have seen here in the kennel this year be very comfortable winding it down inside 10 or even 5 seconds on the clock against this team.
Definitely trying to make the Zags work on the defensive end of the floor.
Salenbine gives that up, and here comes the UW transfer, Jess Finney. Underneath, in transition to Kylie Horsemeyer. That has been their best play of the afternoon.
And that's what they want to do. That they want to get their points in transition, running hard. Against this Zags team, it can be a little bit tough because that's the pace they want to play as well. So it's which team can run hard in transition but keep it under control.
Here's Eliza Hollingsworth. Beat Newbert to the rim, and she'll get 2 at the line. This was a heck of a play.
Yeah, did a great job of getting in the passing lane, starting the break. Great job running the lane. Little bounce pass leading her to the basket, finishing through traffic. This is what the Toreros want to do. That's been a signature for them for years.
Good or bad for Gonzaga if San Diego is comfortable playing as fast as the Zags do in transition?
I think bad, because I don't think you want to play at that pace every single time. Because they're also bringing pressure defensively after they score. They're going to press you full court, whether they score, make, miss, whatever. So it can be pretty exhausting, and you don't want to get into the second half where you start having those mental errors trying to play at that pace for way too long. So they need to settle. Zags are bringing some pressure of their own here, which I like to see.
Stokes on Finney. One of the similar things between these two offenses is how much they like to keep the forwards on the perimeter. Harsimran Kaur very comfortable working out there. This should be on GU. Just knocked out of bounds. No foul on the play. We'll go again. About 90 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Back-to-back games this weekend where the visiting team has hung around. 3 to shoot. Sheffy. No. Out of bounds. Zag ball. Opposing teams come in jacked up and ready to go.
Yeah, this is a fun environment for a lot of teams to come in and play in front of. There's been a couple of times where a team comes in and knocks the Zags off on their home court because they are just so excited to play. Everybody plays their best when they come into an environment like this, I'd like to think. So the Zags just have to keep pushing. I know it's only a 5-point margin right here, but it's a long game. Stick to your scouting report, stick to the game plan.
Ejim fouled aggressively. And Vonnie will go to the line. Just one quick note, if you haven't really followed this Gonzaga team this year, yes, there have been some times like Thursday when the opponents will come in and have it be basically a tie game at the end of the first quarter, but what inevitably has ended up happening the last couple of years is when that happens, it doesn't matter. Zags still end up winning by 25 points.
Yeah, they do a good job of just sticking to their game plan. It's a long game, 4 quarters of play.
And Esther Little comes on for Bree Salenbine as Vonnie misses her first.
Just like we expected, Ejim and Carr kind of going at it. I think that was a little bit of a frustration foul on Carr because down at the other end she was working really hard against Hollingsworth, and a couple of her Torero teammates missed her a few times. Vonnie's able to convert there. So we'll have to see how the foul count, being aggressive.
Well, what a takeaway by Kaylee Trong. Avoids the foul. Esther Little will follow. Sheffy's got her tied up. And this is San Diego ball. I think it looked like Kaylee didn't really know where the defender was behind her. We'll see here. And she didn't know whether to go up and how to do it, and kind of misplayed it.
Yeah, I think she was trying to make sure that she kept it on her right shoulder by her right ear so that she didn't get blocked. Just lost her touch by doing so.
Sheffy's taking shots for San Diego that just haven't been going down. And now Kaylee wants to run. Liza's underneath. And there goes Trong. Kaylee looking to find Ejim. Oh! The geometry angle of that pass, almost impossible.
Just such a great job of getting 2 feet in the paint and being patient. Again, there's a lot of trust between those two. They played together for a long time now. They know each other's tendencies. There's a lot of fun basketball being played here. You see here, waits, good little bounce pass. Vonnie knows to go and get it and finishes with a little bit of traffic too.
And if you're playing one-on-one defense on Vonnie there, how do you stop that? San Diego has gone ice cold. One of their last 7 from the field here coming up on the end of the first quarter. And I believe it was like 15-13 at one point. So this has been quite the little run for the Bulldogs.
Doing a great job of taking care of the ball, valuing each possession, not turning it over, getting great shots every time down the floor, and also getting stops defensively. So if you're the Toreros, you got to find ways to get the ball into the paint. I think they've missed Carr a couple of times on her duck-ins. She's looking for that high-low pass. So you have to handle some pressure on the perimeter and get the ball into the paint where you can get some easy baskets.
All right, 29 seconds on the game clock. There were 28 on the shot clock as the ball was inbounded. So San Diego can either truly hold for the last shot or the Zags will have one more chance. Carr tips it out. This will stay with the Toreros. No more shot clock. 17.3, and that's it. This will be Sheffy to inbound. They don't want to hold. Finney with a jumper, no. And the Zags will get the last bite at the apple. 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Bulldogs by 8. Almost by 10. Kaylin Trong couldn't get it. Esther Little underneath. Tied up again. This should be Bulldog ball. And it is with a hair over a second left. 1.2.
Thought there was quite a bit of contact there on Kaylin Trong's drive, but kudos to Carr for just stepping over 2 feet outside the paint and not fouling.
Vonnie Ejim Well drawn up play, no contact, no foul. That was a pretty eventful, explosive first quarter. 10 minutes gone. Zags winning 21-13 at home, trying to make it 28 in a row at home. Well, this Gonzaga team, so hard to guard on defense. San Diego was keeping pace until about 2.5, maybe even 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and then the Gonzaga offense turned it on. We're through 10 minutes of basketball, 21-13 Gonzaga. This team, Shaniqua Nilles, they're the best shooting team in the WCC. The team shoots an unheard of 49% from the field as a collective. They're also scoring over 80 points a game, and they shoot 40% from three. How do you guard this group? Where do you even start?
It's so tough because, like you said, with all those facts and figures, it's efficiency. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're putting the ball in the basket. So I think the best way to start, or the best place to start, is with a lot of ball pressure. You have to make it tough on them, and you have to be physical. So I think that's in the Toreros game plan as well. However, the Zags are starting to become used to that scouting report against themselves. So it's tough. I'm glad I'm not an opposing coach, because I really don't know who you shut down on any given night. Even if you choose a player, then you have 4 more that are ready to step up and fill that void.
Yeah, not fun when you have 5 players on the Zags averaging over 10 points a game, and then they can still go to Bree Salenbein or anybody else off the bench. There's Kylie Horsemeyer out top. She and now Casey Newbert had very good first quarters. Here's Harsimran Kaur to the rim, no. Newbert underneath, and she'll let the Toreros try again. This is Sheffy, their leading scorer. Gets to the cup, no. And Brenda Maxwell rips it away. San Diego only shooting 29% from the field as a team right now. Gonzaga so far today, over 60%. What a pass. Kaylee Trong gets fouled.
That's a design backdoor play. I think that's a coach's call as well, where you're running it after a timeout or after a quarter break. You have Kaylin coming up. She's acting like she's going to do a dribble handoff, and then she ball fakes. Her sister goes backdoor. Wasn't able to finish there, but she does get herself to the free throw line, able to knock down that first free throw. But that's exactly what we're talking about. They're so efficient. They have their sets. Even when they're not running sets, they just have scorers. So it's very difficult to shut this Gonzaga team down. The Toreros have had some good looks offensively as well. They're just not finishing. I think some of that has to do with the size, the length, this pressure that the GU team is bringing in as well, but they have to find ways to score.
Behind the back from the Washington transfer, Jess Finney. Kind of gutsy to do that going through traffic, right? Underneath the car, Ejim left her wide open and makes her pay.
And I think that can be very successful for USD, of getting Carr in some pick and rolls and then having her roll really hard to the basket, using her length for some high-low action.
Here's Eliza Hollingsworth working on Casey Newbert, one of their best players and has been for years. And Eliza gets the better of her that time. Casey Newbert's so important on defense as well for the San Diego program. They lost 3 out of 4 while she was temporarily injured, as Jess Finney finishes.
That's a great take from Finney, but she's coming from the left wing and she's finishing on the right side of the rim. So as the Zags, you have to do a better job of keeping her out of the paint. That's too easy. And talking about easy, you see Kaylin able to get to the basket like so.
All right, Shaq, that last 30 seconds, and I want you to break this down for the folks at home, is it's such a good example of what is up with this Gonzaga team this year. They allow the second best shooting percentage of any team in the conference. Other teams shoot well against the Zags, but the Zags turn around, they go in transition, they go so fast, and then they score. That's the thing about this team. Teams are shooting 43% against them, but then the Zags are just the best shooting team, and that has not bit them yet.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just finding ways to get the ball in the basket. Defensively, they have to be a little bit better, a little bit more disciplined.
Brenda Maxwell goes to the bench. One too many early fouls on her second. And Maud Heibels will come back on. Well, if you're San Diego and you're hoping to stay in this game, getting Brenna Maxwell to the bench, who usually hits, I don't know, 4 or 5 threes a game sometimes it feels like, and that's a good place to start, getting rid of the three-point shot, right?
Yeah, that's a great scouting report to be physical with her. She picked up that offensive foul, so that sends her to the bench.
Kaylin Trong the rebound. Malia Tharp came on that last dead ball for San Diego. And what a story of Kaylin Trong. Last couple years, with the exception of a couple games of injuries from her sister, I mean, Kaylin Trong, Shaq, was the shooting guard. And all of a sudden, here she is this year with, what is it? She's 8th in the country in total assists.
Yeah, her and her sister are pretty interchangeable. They kind of played off of each other really well in high school and able to come to GU together and do the same thing. So even though one was doing something a little bit more or better last season, they're both really capable.
Yep.
I'm loving what I'm seeing from Yvonne Ejim, though. Just the play before that, she was able to pick up a foul. They ran a little play where she could set at the high post, able to catch, rip, drive through some traffic, get a foul call, and then go right at her again out of bounds play, a little duck in, makes a little move. She's so strong. When she has 2 feet in the paint like that, she's very, very hard to stop.
Misses her first. Vani has 7 points already on 3 for 4 shooting with 2 boards. She had 12 last time she played San Diego. She's already got 8, and we're not anywhere near halftime yet, so when she keeps this up, she'll be closer to 20 today.
It's scary how effective she is. You'll see her numbers, and it's crazy to think the numbers that she puts up, like you're saying, before even halftime.
Back to the Zags. Well, Casey Newbert has been all over the ball today. Given that, the Zags have kind of quieted Veronica Sheffy, who's their leading scorer. And Newbert only has 2 points, but, I mean, she's all over the ball. Give her that. Ejim. No.
Yeah, she's working hard. She's getting out running here in transition. She crashes the boards hard. Definitely a utility player for this San Diego program.
Tipped away by Callie Stokes.
That's what Callie is in to do. Get some deflections.
What a beautiful play. Ejim tries to get fouled. Second chance, no. Looking for the ball for a third chance. Yes, it's Hybins. Zags could have reset that one. Instead, they give it up. Aggressive, though. Fun to see. This team is so fun to watch.
Refs are letting them play a little bit, I would say. There's some body, some lower contact happening on both ends of the floor. It'll be interesting to see how the teams deal with this physicality of play, how they adjust.
And the foul as Dylan Horton was getting started driving. That'll be on Esther Little. Only the second foul of the half on Gonzaga, 3 on San Diego. You are right, Shaq. They are not whistling a lot. Ejim on Finney. 2 of the best players on the floor. 5 to shoot. Horton for the jump shot, no. And Kaylin Trong the rebound. Horton shoots 40% from 3. Jump shots are kind of her game, even though that one didn't go.
Yeah, she needs to continue to look to be aggressive. Same with Finney. I feel like she's being a little bit timid here. Zach's doing a good job of guarding her, clogging up those driving lanes.
More contact down low as Casey Newbert hit the floor really hard, and I mean, everyone in this arena heard that too. She went down on her lower back.
It's a tough position that Newbert was put in. She had a couple of Zags around in help side.
And they're keeping her on. I mean, simultaneously good for her, but also ouch, as Dylan Horton, the deuce and the damage.
And you see that aggressiveness here. Able to go in. Callie's crowding a little bit. She does a great job of creating that contact, absorbing it, and finishing at the rim.
That was the first basket of the game for Dylan Horton, and she turns it into a 3-point play. The Zags, meanwhile, have started to go cold. They haven't made a bucket in about 3 minutes. They are 0 for their last 6 from the field.
able to cut this to an 8-point lead from the Zags. 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Thought Callie Stokes might want to take that one. Instead, it's Liza. And Callie went flying through the air, going for the rebound. She'll get whistled for that one.
Stokes does a great job there of just crashing hard, able to retain possession for the Zags.
That'll take us into a break. It's down to an 8-point game. The Zags are over their last 7 from the field. Well, this Gonzaga team has missed every shot they've taken from the field, Shaq, in the last 3 minutes. You played for Coach Fortier in that huddle when this happens. What is she saying to these guys?
I think she's a little disappointed with how stagnant and casual her team has become in this second half of the second quarter. In the first period, San Diego only scored 13, Gonzaga 21, but now in the second, they both have only scored 7, so GU has definitely cooled down, but I think they've gone away from what was making them successful, running their sets, being aggressive, valuing each possession. But kudos to this Toreros program for coming out in that second quarter and starting to be a little bit more aggressive. They're crashing the boards. They're making physical decisions on their ball screen defense as well. So they're battling, and it's fun to see.
Bree Salenbine back in off the bench. Trying to find it open. Kaylee Trong, instead it's out of bounds, and San Diego will take it back with an 8-point lead, 8-point deficit rather. It's interesting though, the Zags are 0 for 7, haven't scored in a couple of minutes, Shaq, and yet San Diego hasn't really closed the gap because their offense is just not scoring either.
I think the size, the length of those Gonzaga forwards is affecting their ability to really get something going off of this ball screen.
Newbert out to Courtney Riston, who's getting her first run of minutes. Back to Newbert on Eliza Hollingsworth. Had the angle, missed the shot. Mont Hybens ended up on the floor. This will be Zag ball.
Thought that was a great possession for both programs, actually.
Yeah.
Toreros were moving the ball around. They got what they wanted. You know, Newbert making a play at the rim. She wasn't able to finish, but also the Zags were doing a great job of closing out, helping the helper. So both teams are battling on both ends of the floor, and that's why the score is reflecting that.
So Hybens will go to the free throw line here. Turns in her first 2 points of the game, but Shaq, it has now been coming up on 4 minutes since the Zags have made a basket from the field.
Yeah, struggling to get that field goal. But hopefully Mount's free throws going in kind of opens that basket back up for the Zags.
Tenacious defense. Sheffy to the rim, fouled. Refs starting to work those whistles a little bit more now the last few minutes after a pretty quiet start, and Coach Fortier on the bench really letting him hear it, actually. So here comes Sheffy, their leading scorer on the season. She has 6 points so far, and she'll try to get to 8. From Woodinville, Washington, there are a couple of Northwest gals on this San Diego team as well.
I would definitely say for this Toreros team, Sheffy's kind of their motor. She's a strong lefty point guard. When she's aggressive to the rim and looking to score, that's when San Diego is at their best. She wants to get to rim, also has a nice pull-up, so she's able to score. I think it's just hard to do so against the Zags program, but did a great job there of drawing a foul and converting at the free throw line.
Well, she's been aggressive, but not efficient. She is 2 for 6 so far. Zags need to get it going. It's been over 4 minutes since a basket. Hollingsworth nearly gave that one up. And Kaylin Trong, here we go, we're back.
Just like that, they've been looking for that field goal. It's a 3-point conversion by Kaylin Trong. Almost a turnover there, but Eliza was able to gobble that up and find her on the perimeter.
The Virginia Tech transfer, Maddie Vejsicki, on the floor now for San Diego. Number 14. And Kylie Horsemeyer back out there now to guard Kaylee Trong on defense. She's been up in the Zags' faces on the defensive side of the ball. Salenbine tried to go for the contact. I think it was clean, and it was. So stay with GU with 16 on the shot clock. What do they need her to be by March?
Just aggressive, confident. She has to continue to keep those turnovers low because she's going to play a lot of that 1-2 position. She's going to have the ball in her hands a lot.
Horstmeyer likes to run. She'll give it off to Riston. Rejected. Bree Salenbein, hello. Couple of big blocks for this Gonzaga team so far in the first half.
It looks like San Diego's going to score here in transition. Great job by Salenbein, not giving up on the play, getting that block up top cleanly.
Riston looking for the angle. Up and under, wow. Shot of the day so far for San Diego.
Great job of driving left, but then going under the armpit of Hollingsworth to finish with her right hand. Another great finish there by Kaylee Trong. Being an undersized point guard, you have to learn how to score outside of your frame a lot, or else you are susceptible to getting blocked by the defensive team. So she does a great job of extending that left arm, finishing outside of her frame, kissing off the glass.
And that gets her to double digits. Kaylee the first to 10 this afternoon for the Zags. Horstmeyer out top, working on Kaylin Trong. Osviecki out to Sheffy. Driving and converting. 10-point game.
I think the Zags have to do a better job of taking away Sheffy's left hand. It's her dominant hand, that's where she wants to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some changes with how they guard Sheffy in a pick and roll action. You see here, screen, she's going to that dominant hand, 1-2 dribble pull up. That's part of her game that she's really confident in, so you have to take that away.
And she converts. What a great first half after eclipsing the 1,000 career point mark earlier this week. And Esther Little, the heads-up play to Vani. What a great play. And now Vani's to 10 points. And the Zags are back on offense.
Little does such a great job of being active. She's long. Defensively, I think that's where she's most comfortable. Does a great job on the boards as well.
Horstmeyer. She has been some electricity for this team that has needed it.
Hasn't been shooting the three that well this season, but she's hit 2 today in the kennel, helping to keep her team into it. But Yvonne Ejim is just, that's way too low. If she has 2 feet in the paint, it's just count it. It's an automatic bucket for her.
Literally, how do you even stop that, though? That was a perfect entry pass, and if you're one-on-one on the post, I mean, I haven't seen a player this year that's beat her, have you?
No, she's been so dominant. I think if you are guarding Ejim, the best thing you can do is to start guarding her early. If you wait until she's all the way rolled down, ducked you in, 2 feet in the paint, it's too easy. And then she does stuff like that. She just is relentless.
Good golly, Miss Molly. Vani Ejim starting to go off. 14 points, 6 for 10 from the field, 4 rebounds. And the Gonzaga offense is back after a short break. This will be a foul on Vani. No, Kaylin Trong, her second. Callie Stokes back on the floor. And man, what a first half for Yvonne Ejim. Zags have now made their last 4 shots.
There was a big discussion about Ejim's, I wouldn't say inability to make the 3, but she just doesn't shoot them very often, and how that was going to affect how people guard her. But she has just proven that if you can put the ball in the basket, that's all that matters. So she's not shooting, she's not taking a lot of 3-point shots, and she doesn't have to. Nobody has proven that they can stop her in the paint and make her have to choose those long 3-point shots. So her dominance and her athleticism, you just can't talk about it enough.
All right, 10 seconds to go in the half. Zags by 11. Looking for 13. Vani will help get him there with 2 shots. 6.7 left on the game clock, so San Diego will have one last bite at the apple.
San Diego foul, 24 Kylie Horsemeyer, first personal. 15 Giovanni, each will be at the line. The Bulldogs shall have 2.
She's got 14 points. And now 3 for 6 from the line. Not quite what she'd be hoping for. One last shot for San Diego. Sheffy leaves it off underneath for Osfiecki. And a foul just in time with 0.3 on the clock. It'll be a foul on Esther Little. It's Kiki Osfiecki to the free throw line. Some last minute points trying to make it a 10-point game.
Great job by Sheffy of realizing 6.7 on the clock. She pushed it hard, able to get her teammate to the line. And like you said, if you can cut this to 10, you're in a pretty good spot going into half.
Certainly closer than Santa Clara had it here on Thursday. Fun first half of basketball. After 20, Gonzaga 43, the number 16 Bulldogs. San Diego hanging pretty tight compared to the rest of the West Coast Conference with 33. And here to talk about the first 20 minutes of basketball, let's talk to Gonzaga's head coach, Lisa Fortier. Coach, your early thoughts on the first half here?
Well, they're being really physical, and for some reason they're getting all the calls, which is what happens. That's why we tell our team they can't call them all, and it's frustrating, but we got to play stronger on offense, and we have to stop fouling them on the defensive side. Some of their points a lot of them have come from free throws, and we're not making ours, so that's my first thought.
Well, we'd love to hear other thoughts. You guys have done a good job today of bottling up Casey Newbert, one of their best players. She's averaging a double-double. How do you keep her bottled up in the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, Vonnie's a great defender. She's been the primary guard on her, but as we might need to go to switching or something, we haven't done a great job on Sheffy. So everyone has to just stay with an eye towards her, make her go to her right hand. You know, she's a very good player when she goes left, and she's just slightly less good, but not as good going to her right. So we got to do that. We got to keep her off the glass, and I think a lot of us need to do a better job on checking out, and just the theme of it is just play more physical in the second half.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, 20 minutes down, 20 to go here in the kennel. Bulldogs by 10. We're going to talk about their resumes so far as we start to creep towards the meat of the West Coast Conference season and their postseason hopes after the break on ESPN+. Some halftime karate here in the kennel, a tradition unlike any other. 20 minutes down, 20 to go. Gonzaga 43, San Diego 33 here at halftime. That's what the Zags are hoping to do to the Toreros in the second half. Greg Talbot and the great Shaniqua Nillis here with you at halftime. And Shaq, some of your old teammates and the great veterans of Gonzaga Bulldog past are here for Alumni Weekend. This has been a fun weekend and a fun day.
Yeah, it's been a fun time to see everybody coming back, enjoying, you know, their era of Gonzaga basketball and enjoying the next ones up. And this is a great game to be at. So they've had quite the alumni itinerary, and yeah, it's just great to have these Zags back. I know that fans of the program are happy that they're here.
Fun to have them here. The men's 1999 team reunion that made the Elite Eight was here on campus last weekend as well. So this is a fun time of year for all the Gonzaga basketball teams. So speaking of the past, that's been fun. Let's talk about the very, very near future with this team resume as we head to the meat of the West Coast Conference schedule. Shaq, this team began the season unranked. They're up to number 16 right now in the AP rankings with a bunch of high-quality wins. They're at a 4-seed projection right now. Is the committee going to let them on the 3-line?
I would love to say yes, but I don't think that the committee is going to let that happen. Unfortunately, the West Coast Conference isn't as strong as some of these other conferences in NCAA basketball, but they do have some quality wins, like you said, against Stanford here at home, down in Cheney against Eastern, Alabama at Cal, Arizona at Rice. You see it there. So they've really done a good job of taking care of business, and at the end of your conference play, you want the fate to be in your hands, and they've done a great job of setting that tone for themselves going forward.
That big Stanford win is going to help them if there's a close call, though, as we get to March. Halftime show rolls on after this. More karate, more stats, more highlights. We'll see you in a few minutes. Well, that was a fun first half of basketball, if nothing else. 43-33 Zags. After the first 20 minutes, Greg Talbot and the great Shaniqua Nillis here to take you through halftime. Let's show you some of these first half highlights, and boy, did Kaylee Trong make a statement in the first 10 minutes.
She did a great job of just coming out, being aggressive. You see her in the pick and roll there. Another pick and roll, same thing, able to absorb contact. That was an and one for her, able to get herself to the line. Just doing a great job of being patient with the ball in her hands, but staying in attack mode. That's what the Zags team needs from her.
Really fun to see her going, and then the second quarter, boy, Yvonne Ejim with authority, got to 15 points.
Exactly that. She was authoritative down low for the Zags. You see her in that high-low with Hollingsworth. Did a great job of rolling hard, being available. Little bounce pass there. Her and Trong play well off of each other. So if you're the Toreros, you have to stop those two with it. But then you're also hoping you can keep Hollingsworth, Kaylin Trong, and Brenna Maxwell quiet in the second half as well. Tough to do, but we'll see how they manage it in the second half.
Zags had to keep Brenna Maxwell on the bench for a lot of that second quarter because she got to those 2 early fouls. If they let her back on the floor and she starts to shoot from 3, that might crack the game open. But something tells me if they can keep Brenna the way she's been, which is moderately quiet so far, San Diego can probably keep this within striking distance.
Yeah, and that's where they like to be. They're definitely an aggressive team, like Coach Fortier said at the break. They play physical. They thrive in that type of game, in that type of environment. So if they can keep it close, it could be a very interesting third and fourth quarter. But like you said, if Brenna Maxwell, Hollingsworth get going, this game could blow open pretty quickly. All
right, so it's a 10-point lead at halftime. We'll take a break, then bring you back to the kennel in the second half of this West Coast Conference Saturday afternoon basketball game on ESPN+. Back inside the kennel here on ESPN+. Gonzaga 43, San Diego 33 at the end of the first half. Greg Talbot and the great Shaniqua Nillis with you, and let's show you what are some pretty revealing, I think, first half stats. Gonzaga started this game shooting 62% as a team from the field. San Diego began about 25% from the field. Shaq, as you can see, as the half went on, San Diego kind of got it together.
Yeah, I think the one that stands out to me are those rebounds. They're only -1 on the boards with Gonzaga, which is a pretty tough thing to do. Gonzaga historically does great on the boards. They want to win that rebound margin, but I think San Diego is giving themselves more and more opportunities to just stay in this game. Same with the turnovers. They've done a great job of valuing the ball, out shooting the Zags from the free throw line as well. So I feel like San Diego should be proud of that first half that they had. They're going to have to keep that up and then some in the second.
Well, certainly for a team that has not yet won a game in the West Coast Conference, the Zags, meanwhile, number 16 in America. I also want to point out the three-point shooting there. 3 for 7, that's pretty good for the Zags, right? That's 43%. Gonzaga shoots, 40% as a team. But this is also a team that regularly gives people tacos. You know what I mean? We very often get to 10 3-pointers a game in this building. 3 is pretty quiet, and no doubt that is because Brenna Maxwell had to spend a significant portion of that first half on the bench with those 2 fouls.
That was definitely a position that Maxwell probably hasn't found herself in quite some time. She got 2 quick early fouls, found herself on the bench, and that changes how they push in transition, what they're trying to look at in transition. It changes the set calls that they can run out of timeouts or even just in their secondary transition opportunities. So kudos to the Zags as well of finding a way to get stuff done and have a 10-point lead at half with Maxwell on the bench. But I do think with her on the floor, it changes the dynamic of this team significantly.
All right, so the upcoming schedule for the Zags. First of all, you can catch all these games right here on ESPN+. Quick little road trip down to St. Mary's and then down to LMU rather, and then back for the next home game, which is that always fun rivalry with St. Mary's. Then back on the road for quite a while here. Not a lot of home games left for Gonzaga women this year. We're kind of further along than it almost feels like.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to catch a game, you got to join us in the near future. But similar to what we talked about earlier on in the broadcast, Greg, of every WCC team is gunning for the Zags. The Zags have had a target on their back in this conference for years now. And with your strength of schedule being what it is, or what it isn't rather, you have to show up night in and night out, especially on your home court. Take care of business, and when you go out on the road, you have to do the same thing. You can't afford to drop anything against opponents in conference.
And then there is San Diego's upcoming schedule. I know that Portland is not as good as they were last year, but Portland, Gonzaga back-to-back, that is still a doozy.
That's a tough stretch for the Toreros, but I think they're up for it. They are a physical, aggressive team. They like to play fast. They like to get in your face, make you uncomfortable, which is something that has been successful against the Zags and Portland as well. So if anybody's going to knock off those two teams, it could be this Torero program.
That was an awfully fun, quick halftime interview that we had with Gonzaga's head coach. You see her there, Lisa Fortier. In case you had gone up to get a drink or go to the bathroom or something, she basically said, we are not being physical enough, and the refs are giving all the calls to San Diego. So I will be interested to see exactly what she has drawn up here at halftime, because we have seen her happier than that at halftime before, I will say.
Yeah, she was frustrated with her team's lack of physicality. I was taught as a player that the benefit of the doubt is going to go towards the aggressor, probably the only situation where that's the case. But look for the Zags to come out and be a lot more physical, set that tone early, because if you let San Diego do it, you're going to be playing a really rough game for the next 20 minutes of play.
Well, there's Kaylin Trong, a monumental first half, 11 points on 4 for 5 from the field with 3 assists. She and Yvonne Ejim were just phenomenal, as Brenna Maxwell is finally back on the floor, and she inbounds it to Kaylin Trong to get us started. Zags only 3 for 7 from 3 so far this afternoon. That feels like considerably below their home game average. So we'll see what the second half has in store. And Trong gets it to go. Kaylee Trong, that's 13 points.
Picking up right where she left off in that first half. Zags love that continuous ball screen action, and it's really tough to guard when you're playing ball screens on both sides of the floor. Great job of Kaylee of getting downhill into her pull-up.
Casey Newbert looking for something to do with it, finds Jess Finney, who airballs it and passes it right to Kaylin Trong. Back to her sister in transition. The Zags will reset. Brenna Maxwell's hanging out there in the corner, waiting for a look at a 3. She knows her role. Kaylee. Zags running it down, 10 on the clock on the second possession of the half. To Ejim, what a pass. Hollingsworth recovers. Third chance, tipped away, Vaughnie, fourth chance. Well, that's hard to beat. On the move, Sheffy fouled.
I like the tempo that Sheffy is playing with. Her decision-making when she does get into the paint has to be a little bit better. A little out of control there, but I like the motor that she's playing with. She needs somebody to kind of step up and help her out in terms of scoring, but there she did a great job of pushing in transition. She needs to go off of 2 feet here. You're on balance. You can have a little floater into your pull-up. As soon as you leave your feet, you're putting the ball in the ref's hands to go up against you there.
Trong throws it right off the foot of Newbert. That was heads up. Newbert was great against Gonzaga last time they played, 11-7 last year. But so far tonight, even though she's averaging a double-double, she does have 6 rebounds, but only 2 points.
Yeah, hasn't been able to get into a flow offensively, but she's doing what she does best on the boards. You see Maxwell able to get a deflection there, start the break.
Kaylin, bang. We said they needed more 3s, and here we go. Kaylin Trong now give her 9 points, all of them. I'm just now seeing Shaq off 3s. 3 for 4 from downtown for 9 points.
She's doing a great job of just being available from the 3-point line.
Liza, nice recovery on the heads-up play, as San Diego just sent on Claire Gallagher for her first run of minutes tonight. Did not play in the first half.
Sydney Fisher and her coaching staff trying to just get somebody in there who's going to make a difference, help them cut into this lead and even further, lock in defensively on the Zags too. So she's going to her bench trying to make something happen.
Sheffy tipped away. That was clean by Kaylee Trong. Zags will put on Callie Stokes as Caitlin Trong goes off. That was beautiful.
Great job of Kaylee getting her hands in there, getting all ball, not coming across the wrist or the forearms.
Well, so good to do that because you know San Diego has gotten to the line a decent amount, right? They shot 9 free throws in the first half. They made 7. You don't want to let them make up some of this lead from the free throw line.
Well, that's what Coach Fortier said, is they're fouling and they're also allowing them to get to that free throw line and convert. They're proving that they can shoot at a good free throw percentage tonight, so you don't want to keep sending them there for easy baskets.
Kylie Horsemeyer. She was electric in the first half. The Casey Newbert fouled. And now we will see the redshirt senior shoot some free throws. Try to improve on her 2 points so far.
That foul as well was on Maxwell. That's her third.
We'll see if they keep her on.
I think part of the frustration, though, is the player, the Torero player that she's guarding is not traditionally a strong three-point shooter, so her help side, she was late and then swung down on Newbert. If she's there early, maybe that pass isn't necessarily there, so you can see the Gonzaga coaching staff unhappy with the decision she made there. It looks like they're going to keep her in, maybe not, as you see Claire O'Connor heading to the scorer's table.
And Newbert hits the free throws. For the first time this afternoon, we'll see Claire O'Connor coming off the bench, another one of these players who is very clearly going to be a huge part of next year's young team that might be something of a rebuild, not something to think about too much yet, but we've loved what we have seen out of her in the minutes she's gotten this year. That'll be a push on San Diego. Should be on Claire Gallagher.
Claire O'Connor, tremendous upside. She has great length. She's a good shooter. She works really hard, too. I'm really impressed as a freshman to come in. She's a bit of a gym rat. She's in here all the time. So you love to see that if you're a fan of the program. I know for the Zags coaching staff, they don't like to think of it as a rebuilding, but more a reloading.
Yes.
They really focus on player development. They want their bench players to be ready for that opportunity.
What a sequence. Von Ejim gets fouled. And you're exactly right about Claire O'Connor being a gym rat, Shaq. We usually show up, I don't know, 2 hours, an hour and a half before the game for our broadcast here, and Claire was out on the floor like literally the entire time.
Definitely, and I was here even earlier than that because of alumni weekend, and we had some stuff on the itinerary, and Gonzaga had their shoot around this morning, and she stayed even after to get some shots up as well. So she's hungry for it, and so I'm really excited to see where her career goes for this program.
She, Bree Salenbine, Callie Stokes, Peyton Muma, that's going to be a good front court next year. Backcourt, rather. It's going to be a good backcourt. And now Sheffy out top. Coach Fortier at halftime said that she's been aggressive and done a good job. She's got 9 points on 3 for 8 shooting. Horsemeyer out to Sheffy. She likes to drive and finish. One more.
But again, I think the frustration is that they're allowing her to go left off of these ball screens. There wasn't even a ball screen. It was just a quick little jab step to the middle, and she's going to her dominant hand. So it's almost like even on the catch, you need to open up your hips a little bit and really shade her towards her right hand. See what she's capable of doing going towards her non-dominant side.
This was a 10-point game at halftime. Gonzaga has opened it up since then. Like the aggressive shot there by the freshman O'Connor. Second chance. Ten on the shot clock. Back to the freshman. That was a good shot, just a little bit of a line drive.
Those are two great looks for her. She has to take those. That's what she's in the game for.
And Kylie Horsemeyer helps cut into that lead just a little bit. 14 points. Next dead ball takes us down to our third quarter timeout. Could have had a look at a third one if she'd wanted it. How about Callie Stokes? Or Callie Strokes. That's 3 straight games with a 3.
That was kind of the missing piece of her game when she got to Gonzaga, and she's another player that has worked so hard. Coach Jordan Green works with these shooters on their footwork. Same with Coach Stacy Kleinsmith. So to see her catch and shoot, there was zero hesitation. She shot that with confidence, and she was able to knock that down.
I think they're looking at her as a real 3-point contributor next year.
Yeah, I think she's going to be, I think they're trying to develop her into a scorer, not just you're a shooter or you're a driver. They want her to be able to be very versatile and a utility type of player. As you see, Kaylee Tron going from one side of the court, kind of slow burned it a little bit, but able to finish with her left hand.
Horsemeyer on the freshman O'Connor. And a good rebound by Hybens.
Horsemeyer's got a lot of 3-point looks. She's hit 3 of them today. Did a great job there of putting the ball on the floor, getting it off the bounce, just didn't finish.
Good movement. Stokes looking for the right angle. Couldn't quite get it. Ejim the putback. How do you even stop that? It's a 21-point lead for the Zags. What a third quarter.
You have to guard Ejim when she has the ball in her hands. You have to be really locked in when she doesn't have the ball in her hands. The shot goes up. You have to be really locked in to block her out. It's exhausting to guard a player of her caliber and stamina, as you see Sheffy able to knock down a 3 as well.
Yeah, the sophomore from Woodinville, only a sophomore. This is a pretty young team, this San Diego group. She's going to be great by the time she's an upperclassman. I mean, she already is, but she'll be even better. These players have to be tired. We've been going on this sequence for a while. Callie misses that one. Foul underneath. And that'll take us down to our third quarter timeout as the Zags are starting to pull away, and Callie Strokes helping them do it.
Great job with the one more pass. Callie knocking it down.
Zag Nation, thank you for your investment in the daily division like this period.
When you watch it back on film, it's funny because you'll see yourself, hands out, face in total disgust and surprise at the ref, and then you watch it back on film and you're like, oh my gosh, I hacked her. Like there's like how I look so silly out there being like, I didn't touch her at all. And it's like, yeah, she's on the ground. So I think it's just, the moment, the intensity, the physicality that you're trying to play with. So I had a few moments like that, but you got a pretty good ref crew out there today and most days, so they're just out there to keep you safe.
And here is Sheffy. Oh, tripped up by Mott Hybens, and that one was a mistake.
Accidental contact there, but when you make her lose possession like that, it's a tough foul call, but it is the right foul call. She realized it.
Everyone looks okay. Destiny Burton checking back in for the Bulldogs. She was injured at the start of the season. Nice to see her back out there. A lot of the players, her, Bree Sallenbein, who went down with temporary injuries, are finally back and ready to go for the long haul.
The more bodies you have available to you on the bench, especially as you get later into your season, it matters. You don't want to tire out your starting group constantly night in and night out. So it's good to see them back.
Carr comes out to set a screen. The runner from Horton doesn't go, and Esther Little to collect. And the Zags will run, but that was good by Horstmeyer to get back on defense. No fast break for the Zags that time. Wow, Hollingsworth, beautiful, what a pass. What a play.
What a play. Toreros actually did a great job of making the ball handler, Kaylin Tron, get further and further away from the basket, but she is so comfortable with the ball in her hands. Eyes are up, has great vision. Eliza Hollingsworth rolled hard all the way to the basket. Great find by Trong.
Here's Carr. Trong runs it down. The Zags will run. It's a 2-on-2 and overshot Esther Little just a little bit on the run. Inside a minute to go here in the third quarter.
That was a point of emphasis for this Zag team coming into today, to run under control and to value and maximize each possession. So great job of getting that steal and pushing tempo there. Unfortunately resulted in a turnover.
Waskovich, the true freshman, rejected by Bree Sallenbein, her second block of the day. Little on the run over to Bree. Man in her face. Oh, that was a great shot. It's an inch or two off. Love the aggression, San Diego ball. No shot clock, just game clock, 21 seconds. So who will it be for the Toreros? But either way, just shy of a 20-point game. What a big third quarter for this Gonzaga team. It was a 10-point game at halftime. Sheffy elevates and hits.
She's been really phenomenal tonight for this Toreros team.
Invaluable, but the Zags still end up with a great quarter. They were up 10 at halftime. Now they're up 16 as we head to the fourth on ESPN+. Well, considering it is -6 degrees outside, and it has been for the better part of, I don't know, 48 hours here in Spokane, so nice to see how many people came out for this one. Limited opportunities left to watch this team at home this year, coming up on what would be about 30 consecutive home wins. It's been a fun game so far. Veronica Sheffy out to run point for San Diego. 10 minutes to go, Bulldogs leading 65-49. Shaq, how do we feel about that third quarter?
I think that was a great start. There was a little bit of a lull there. Started having some turnovers, some silly mistakes by the Zags on both ends of the floor. So look for them to just really fine-tune some things, sharpen things up on both ends of the floor to start this fourth.
Here's Sallenbein working on the true freshman, Mila Waskovich. Brenna Maxwell back into the game. Lucky her, because that was very nearly foul number 4 on Brenna Maxwell. Instead, she draws the block, but kind of uncomfortably close, Shaq.
Yeah, she had that open lane. I would love to see her go off 2 feet. One, to protect yourself. I always get nervous when people go off of 1 foot here when somebody's sliding under to take that charge. Makes me a bit nervous. That was a great job by Sheffy, great effort. She was just a little bit late, still moving. But I think Maxwell's got to go off of 2 feet. That way she's able to absorb some contact. Maybe get an and one, but more importantly, just protect herself with contact.
Brenna has not been able to play very much today, and yet she is still finished with 7 points. She had 2 early fouls, kept her off the floor for most of the second quarter, came on for the third and picked up a third right away.
Yeah, unfortunate for her. Again, a position she probably hasn't found herself in often this season, especially. So look to see if the Zags can get her going in this fourth.
Vaughn Ejim comes back on for the Zags. In terms of scoring, here's what Gonzaga's got going on. Kaylee Trong with 15, Vaughn Ejim with 21. Hollingsworth and Kaylin Trong with 8 and 9 points, so right up against 10. But this has not been one of the days where the scoring's all spread out. Really, it's been a couple big players. And the crowd really not happy. They thought that was off the Toreros.
Yeah, if you didn't believe us that this place was packed, I'm sure you could hear their
yeah. Listen to that.
unhappiness with that last call. Just like that, that's Maxwell's fourth.
This is just an unlucky day for Brenna. She's not playing any more out of control than normal. It's just wrong place, wrong time. And look at the smile, like she knows. Lucky for her, this is not a particularly close game, but yeah, she's frustrated, no doubt about it.
I think it's that balance of frustration because she was unable to see the floor for so long. So then you start playing a little bit tight, right? You start really trying to gun and make plays a little bit outside yourself. So there, she crowded Horton on her landing as a shooter. I'm sure Maxwell would have wanted that call as well. So they're going to leave her in here.
They're going to let her stay on. They're going to let her shoot. I think she's a little bit rattled. I think she's in her own head.
Yeah, she just got to settle in a little bit. There's still plenty of fourth quarter. She just got to be smart.
And she's got 7 points. I think she'd like to get to 10. That's her season average. I think they can get her one more three in the next 8.5 minutes.
She's hunting them always, so she might be able to get a couple good looks.
And here comes Kaylin Trong to bring it across. Kaylee's got 15, Kaylin's got 9. Maxwell with the great inside pass to Hybens. That was beautiful high-low. No foul. But Vaughn was playing with fire there, coming in that hot. This is Horton. She shoots 40% from 3, but has not tried it yet. There's Carr for 2.
Great job of just taking her time in that pick and roll. Little pocket pass. Carr has a feed set, able to let it fly from the mid-post.
15-point game. Kaylee. Oh, one more coming. That's 11 points. She'll have a chance at 12. No, rather that's 17 points, sorry.
Does a great job with that counter move going between her legs. A little bit of hang time, able to handle that contact and kiss it off the glass to finish. She's playing really, really well tonight. Confident, under control. She's not rattled. She's not getting rushed by any of the Toreros' pressure.
Nope. Really shoot first tonight. Been fun to see.
I do think her reaching that milestone in their last game just was a helpful reminder that she is capable of scoring and that that's something that they need her to do game in, game out. She's very capable of scoring, but has kind of been put into this box of facilitator, so it's good to see her going offensively.
Great move to the rim, Osviecki. What a play. Ejim to Maxwell in the corner, but Horton knew where she was. Kaylee Trong, bang! Wow, 21 points. She's tied with Vaughn Ejim for the team high. And San Diego wants the timeout. Took longer than usual to get that real last punch to the jaw, but the Zags just finally did it. This is a 19-point game.
Yeah, good job by Maxwell at bringing that ball in. Shot fakes, acting like you're going to penetrate, finding a shooter on the wing. Kaylee Trong having a night. She's playing so well.
Boy, oh boy, sometimes it's earlier in the game where the Zags have the ball movement big three that puts the nail in the coffin, but it was this sequence here earlier in the fourth. Shaka took longer than usual to get that nail in the coffin moment, but something about this building and this team, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, that was great ball movement. Ball never was stagnant. The Toreros were playing catch up that whole possession, and great job by the Zags to find their shooter on the perimeter.
Casey Newbert finally back on the floor for the Toreros, and she was off a lot of the second half, surprisingly, and she'll put up a three and get it.
Great job by the Toreros of coming out of that timeout and getting a great look. Newbert has been quiet, like you said, able to get that one to fall from the three-point line. You see a lot of pressure here from the Toreros, trying to be aggressive for these finals, 6.5 minutes.
Brenda Maxwell, 9 points, 1 for 3 from downtown. When was the last time she hit only 1 3-pointer in a game in this room?
Yeah, definitely. And like we said, a big part of that is when is the last time that she's been in foul trouble significantly early on in a game. So unfortunately put herself in that position, but they're going to try to get her some looks, run some plays for her as well. And she's a three-point shooter, so she's able to put a lot of points up on the board in a short amount of time.
Ejimon Newbert. Second chance for Vonnie, no. Over the back and sends Newbert to the floor. Accidental, but looked not exactly comfortable for the redshirt senior Casey Newbert. And that'll be on Vonnie, no surprise.
Bit of frustration as she kept going for that board.
And Maxwell goes to the bench. That's a little surprising. And Riston back off the bench for San Diego. And here's the freshman from Boise, another Northwest gal, Lauren McCall, running the point. Fun opportunity for her to play for a couple minutes here against the Trongs. That's a good experience for a freshman.
Yeah, it's a tough assignment as well, but you see there, gets to her pull-up a little bit off, but she's young. She's going to develop under this coaching staff.
And here's Stokes to Kaylin Trong. Finds Vonnie. What a play. No. Hybens comes flying in. There's a foul underneath. I'll be on San Diego.
I do think it's very hard for reffing crews to figure out how to ref Vaughn because she's so strong and so explosive, as you see there. But that doesn't mean that she's not getting bodied or that there's not foul calls available to her. You see there, Kaylee Trong trying to take a charge. She was a bit late. But I do think that Vonnie doesn't get to the free throw line enough because it's just, oh, she's so strong, oh, she's so athletic. She's doing a great job this year of not getting frustrated and picking up silly fouls as well, but her dominance is obvious.
20-point game as we hit the home stretch. Well, it's going to be 28 consecutive home wins for this Gonzaga women's team with a win today against San Diego, up 20 with about 5 minutes to go. Upcoming schedule, they're back again on January 20th for the next home game against St. Mary's. But I mean, you know, really, there's a lot of road games coming up here.
Yeah, they have a tough road stretch, going to be on the road, away from the kennel and all of its fans. And I think it's important for them to remember while they're on the road that everybody is gunning for them. They've had a target on their backs in this conference for quite some time now. So you can't afford to travel and be casual or just to expect to go into other people's homes and rattle a couple of wins off. So they're going to have to be disciplined and locked in even though they're away from the kennel.
Shaq, you did it for so many years. Where is the hardest place to play if you're on the Zags, on the road? I mean, can't count the kennel. If you're on the Zags, where's the hardest place to play in the league?
Yeah, well, the first one that came to mind that is irrelevant at this point, it
BYU?
was BYU,
Yeah,
but
sure.
they're gone. So going deeper into the archives for myself, I would say that it was maybe Pepperdine, simply because it's just a completely different atmosphere, completely different gym. Fan attendance is pretty low. As you see Destiny Burton able to get some points on the board for her Zags. St. Mary's is always gunning for you. That's a tough place to play in Moraga. But I think it's fair to say that there's not a lot of home court advantages like the one that the Zags have here in Spokane.
Not with BYU out of the picture.
Not with BYU out, yeah.
Carr out top to Finney. She was putting up a lot of shots in the first half. Ended up with just 2 points. Zags will swing it around. Vonnie on Carr. Vonnie got the best of her most of the night, and she will continue. 25 points for the best player in the West Coast Conference.
Does a great job of getting in that short corner, facing up, getting to the middle of the paint. She's so bouncy as well, so just able to go right up into that pull-up.
10 for 18 from the field. Oh, and 10 rebounds. She finally got there. Another double-double for Von Agem. The big late three from San Diego. And at the moment, so go ahead.
Sheffy's just having a game of her own. Kind of the only one for this Torero program.
20
but
points.
She's up to 20. Great showing here for the sophomore in Spokane.
So Von Agem will finish with a double-double. Oh, man! Veronica Sheffy kind of gave Kaylin Trong a piggyback ride there on the way to the floor.
And I actually think Kaylin Trong did the right thing here. She knew Sheffy was coming behind her. I think if she should go up in the air, that could have been a little bit more dangerous,
yeah.
But she stayed on the ground, and so it just ends up being kind of a funny piggyback ride situation, and everybody's able to walk away from it.
Vonnie, standing ovation, 25 points. A double-double, 10 boards as well.
The count was getting a little bit low there for Kaylin Trong, so crafty, she throws it off Sheffy's backside, able to reset, get a better baseline out of bounds for this program.
Five to shoot here for Kaylin Trong. To the rim, over Finney. Contact, no foul, she still got it. Does Gonzaga just call for a timeout? No, they want to send Claire O'Connor on. Okay.
I think she was calling a timeout, but just for a sub.
Sure.
I think Coach Fortier saw her getting a bit roughed up those last couple of possessions on offense and said, come and take a seat.
Sure. All right, Kaylin Trong goes off after a really pretty great day as well. Both of the Trong sisters. Kaylee, 21. Kaylin, 11. Both of them a couple of rebounds, couple of assists. Great day. Vejsicki, no. Card chases it down. Coming up on 2 minutes to play. Down to Carr. Did they just call a foul on Salenbein on that? I think they did. That'll be on Bree, and the entire Gonzaga bench just actively rolled their eyes. Oh, there it is. There's some contact there. All right.
There's a little bit, but that's your point guard out there that's guarding Carr in the paint. But Bree's size, she didn't look phased. She wasn't panicked. I thought that was the right decision to wait until Carr brought it down to try and swipe it. Got a little bit of her hands there. But that's not as much of a mismatch as you might think when you have Bree Salenbein as your point guard.
San Diego wants a timeout. 83-64 is our score. All right, so we've been talking, Shaq, about who's going to be our player of the game today. We had a couple of options. It was really just Von Agem or Kaylee Trong. We're going to give it to Kaylee Trong because how aggressive was she? Not only did she get 21 points today and 7 assists, more importantly, she was 8 for 9 from the floor.
Yeah, just really efficient, having her feet set. From tip, she was very aggressive, came out confident. She's somebody that can put points up on the board. She's turned into a little bit more of a passer due to her injuries, but it's good to see her coming into her own again as a confident scorer for this team. 21 points, easy player of the game when you're that efficient.
So she finishes with 21. Yvonne Ejim will finish with 25 and a double-double. Boy, this team, man, sometimes everyone has 10 points, sometimes a couple folks have 20. You never know what they're going to do. Claire O'Connor had to look at another three, didn't take it. Salenbein with some space. Clank that one up a little bit hard. Inside 2 minutes to go. Shaq, what are our feelings about this game? This is a 10-point game at halftime, ended up being about a 20-point game, which is what it always seems to be in the West Coast Conference. We know Coach Fortier was not particularly happy at halftime. Will she be happy here after 40 minutes?
I think so. They have made some good adjustments in this second half. I think she'll still be a little bit disappointed with how they guarded Sheffy. She was able to get 20 points off here in the kennel. That's something that you don't want to see. But yeah, they made some great adjustments. They started playing Zag basketball, low turnovers, pushing the pace, running their sets, getting quality looks every time down the floor. Their defense has always been something that they're working on, and in the second half they started to lock in more on that end of the ball.
And there's 5 points for Callie Stokes. Had a big three for the third consecutive game. And we have a look at much of next year's Gonzaga team out on the floor right now for the last couple minutes of this one. Nice looking three goes down from the freshman Lauren McCall. I like her attitude, man. She looks tough out there for an 18-year-old.
Yeah, she looks like she's ready to go.
Especially hard against a team like Gonzaga. She's looked pretty good today. Good for her. Inside a minute to play. It's going to be 28 in a row at home for this team. 5 to shoot. The freshman, O'Connor, looking for her bucket. Turnaround. So close. That's the kind of shot she practices in the gym, though. We've seen her do it.
You like to see your freshman realizing that the shot clock is low and going and trying to make a play. This is her moment with these final minutes.
The Zags will run this one down. They are the best shooting team in the West Coast Conference. They are the best three-point shooting team in the West Coast Conference. And they are now 16-2, 3-0 in the league, 8-0 at home this year, and it's 28 wins in a row in the kennel.
Great job by the Zags of just handling business on their home court. I think it's a goal of this program to not drop any games in conference. You don't want to go into March with some stains on your record, so to speak. So they're trying to show up every night and just get the job done, which they were able to do in the second half against the Toreros.
They are still the only team that has not lost yet in the West Coast Conference. They're off to a 3-0 start in the WCC, and everyone is going to be chasing them from here on in, and isn't that always the way? Next home game for the Zags, January 20th, an always fun rivalry game against St. Mary's. We'll see you back here for that one. So for the great Shaniqua Nillis, our producer Stephen Carr, and the rest of our ESPN Plus crew here inside the McCarthy Athletic Center, I'm Greg Talbot saying good night, and we'll see you next time for more women's college hoops on ESPN Plus.